What's up, Raiders? Bionic here. Welcome to another Raid Shadow Legends video. I have a very special one for you guys today, okay? This is a small series that I started about a month ago. So this is an account that is doing free-to-play with farmables only. Okay, so the goal is to get to Arbiter as quickly as possible with basically only using mystery shards and then anything that is farmable within the game. That can be the campaign, right? We know there's a couple of good champions in here. Mainly, probably the ones we know the most about would be these two right here, like War Maiden and Berserker. I think this guy here, Arbiter, is also maybe somewhat decent a little bit. This one here too, Outlander, because he has a turn meter decrease. So what we're going to do today is follow up on this account because it's now on a little bit over 60 days. There is a huge roadblock like there is for everybody else right now. It is reach Silver 1 in Classic Arena. This fellow has sent me some videos of him basically coming very close, but every time he then goes back to bed, wakes up, and is like he's always shy of a couple of points and cannot make it to Silver 1. But we know this is not going to be his only problem, right? At one point he's going to have to face the 50 silver medals, right? So this is also going to be a huge problem. So his progress has been somewhat stopped for the last 5 weeks, if not more, maybe going on 6 weeks now. And that is so frustrating because even new players coming along that are spending money that perhaps don't have the knowledge this guy has are somewhat encountering the same problem. So anyway, like I said, not using any mystery shards, ancient shards, or void shards, sacred shards, the whole thing, right? Only the mystery, sorry. So at this point, what has he been able to get? So let's look at his champions first. We've got a War Maiden, we've got a Kale, and we've got, I guess we're lucky enough to pull a secondary starter champion from mystery shards. Then of course we've had our Haikatoon. We do get a Jizzo for free. We have a Sergeant right here, which he is using in a Relentless set. Also has a Relentless set. This is kind of nice. And then using this champion for the ally joining the attack using their default skill. This is not a bad method to do this on a 2-turn cooldown. So this is pretty good. Early on to have an ally joining attack ability is a good option to have, right? A couple masteries done. Then we've got the Shield Guard. This guy can basically be your farmer to some extent. Has the ability to fill his own turn meter by 20%, right? AoE. And then also has a passive that removes 1 debuff from this champion each turn. This is a strong uncommon. We've seen builds with this guy before. And then also has a decreased speed, scaling off of defense. So a great early defense champion to have. We've got our Armiger, of course. This guy with a turn meter reduction on the A1 as well as the enemy max HP on the A2. This is, in the absence of a Cold Heart, your next best option. Then he's got also a Bulwark, which he got through one of the events, part of the previous fusion, I'm gonna say, right? Because he was available in there. Great champion to have overall as well. We love him for his passive right here, but the skills are not done. As for these guys, the skills are done. This is easy. You get a lot of copies, okay? So it's easier to max out uncommons basically early on without having to use books. And we'll look at how many books he has after all this. This guy also maxed out. The Jizzo, we did not do the skills. The Haikatoon, we did not touch her whatsoever for the time being. Athel is not done. Kale, completely done. War Maiden, working on her. I assume he's using copies as well, which is what I did when I first started out last year as the free-to-play player. Then we've got one of these guys right here, the Outlander. Again, very easy to farm because you get him from the same chapter that you get the War Maiden, right? So again, this guy is here for the AoE turn meter reduction. Heck, he's got 2, right? Because that might be needed for some of the dungeons. Also maxing out this guy. Very interesting. See what he's doing? He's using everything that's available to him that has like turn meter reduction, which in the beginning I think a lot of people overlook because we're all so hell-bent on getting better rares, epics, even worse legendaries that we forget that there are some pretty useful champions early on. Then he's got our Shaman, which is basically our only basic revive, right? Revive 1 target with 50% HP. It's not the best, but at least it's something. Then we've got the first Sniper, which he's working on as well. This is great because we do have the AoE A1. She can somewhat act as a tank for the Spider if you put her in, usually I think it's lifesteal, right? Couple masteries are done here as well. Then he's got a Myrmidon, which is pretty good. Probably was also able to get this one with the Bulwark during the last fusion. Skills are not done on this guy, but we do have an ally protection and a continuous heal on himself. AoE decreased attack, which is always very useful in the beginning as well. Then the rest here, I don't know if he's working on these champions. Yes, he is. So he has the Dervish, which can somewhat deal a decent amount of damage from what I remember. Geared in accuracy and crit rate. A little bit of masteries here as well. We've got a second Armiger, right? Because he might need more than one. So yeah, you got to get yourself multiple copies. Again, doing probably all the skills with copies of themselves. Then we've got the War Priest we get in the beginning for free. This is kind of like your healer, right? He's got the Yaga the Insatiable already. Not sure if he's going to work on this guy. Probably not doing the skills. No masteries done. Then he's got the Grave Chill Killer, which is great for single target poisons, but most importantly, decreased defense, which can be very useful on the clan boss early on. Then we've got a Diabolus. Not sure if he's going to work on the Diabolus. Doesn't look like it. Spirit Walker, using this champion for, we've got the decreased attack A1, removes all buffs from this champion, and then we've got the increased attack buff on all allies, so that can be useful as well. Finally, we've got a Mother Superior. So I don't know if he was lucky enough to pull this one from Mystery Shards, but this is great because it's somewhat your healer in the beginning, as well as a good speed aura. So probably going to work on this champion as well. Berserker, great spirit nuker early on. If you do not have better, this guy is a good one to work with. I still use mine for faction wars. Also a guy that you can max out his skills with copies, right? So you can see like he's really good. He's using everything that is available to him easily without, like I said, using those shards. Ogre and Jailer, probably not really going to use this guy. This Grinner is a good one to have as well because you do have a revive on his A3, right? And the rest is, we'll see. He's got the Fleshmonger, that's good as well. AoE decreased defense, magic version. We've got the Valerie for the extension of the buffs, right? And then reducing the duration of debuffs, as well as our 25% increased attack. So another option for that. Anointed is a good one as well. So Executioner is one that he can work with as well. So I mean, like, it's impressive. It's impressive the roster that he's able to build with literally not using any of the better versions of shards. All right, let's keep going and now look at his Great Hall. Okay, so he's working a little bit on everything, but at some point, right, he's going to encounter the problem that he needs silver medals to reach like the so-called rank 4. So it's going to be a problem. Right now, still stuck in bronze, so he's going to be limited with this progress. But it doesn't stop him from continuing to progress his basically clan boss, right? Not sure how much damage he's dealing in here. Hasn't dealt, or has he? No keys yet today. Okay, so maybe we can get that information from him a little bit later on. But as you can see, he is getting a chest from normal and easy. We'll confirm. Okay, so top chest here and top chest here. Really good. So I would love to see his build overall. Maybe what we can do is quickly look at what it looks like. Okay, so we've got the Jizzo, Haikatune, we've got our decreased defense, weakened, we've got our damage dealer, poison, speed, as well as the aura to increase attack. Not a bad setup early on, okay? Again, using everything that was given to him for free. Well, mostly, right? Okay, let's keep going. We've got the arena. What is he running right now? We're not, okay. Let's do this here real quick. As you can see, he has not logged on yet. Here's the bazaar, blah, blah, blah. Defense-wise, Team 1, Team 2, and Team 3. Interesting. So he still has a decent, or like at least something going for the bazaar, right? So maybe he's going to be able to work on some of those bars and start getting at least a little bit of extra resources for him to start buying some of these. Okay, and then what about the classic arena? On the defense, we've got Haikatune lead. Yeah, then we've got our decreased defense and 2 nukers. So he doesn't have the increased attack, but because he's using 2 nukers and the decreased defense, overall probably still dealing a decent amount of damage. At least in the beginning, that's sort of like your go-to build. Okay, next we want to look at the dungeons. I think that's the biggest thing we want to see here. What has he been able to do with literally only accessible champions? So, we've got, what about the Minotaur? Let's do that real quick. Stage 13 already, that's not too bad. So it's a work in progress. I assume he's going to be able to reach level 15 relatively soon. What about Ice Golem? All the way to stage 13. So that is your first big goal, right? If you want to start farming dungeons early on, you want to reach level 13. Last year we didn't have this. It stopped at 15 and was gear rank 4 to 5. Now you have 4 to 6 that can start at least this stage, and 2 minutes and 26 seconds is actually pretty good. But look at this, it's sort of the same champions, right? You're always going to reuse your core champions that you're using for, let's say, the clan boss, the dungeons and whatnot, and then you're going to get, like, let's say a specialist, a champion that will help specifically with that dungeon itself. Maybe we can do a run later, but let's just keep going for now. Spider, where are we at? Okay, 10. So obviously this is harder. You're gonna have to probably use the nuking method, right? You don't have any other options. So for now, just literally reusing the same champions. Eventually, I suppose having the Armigers and whatnot, he can start specializing a team to have a better performance. But as you can see, like for now, this is his rank 6 or level 60 champions. Okay, the Armigers, the other uncommons are not there yet. He's told me he's working on that for now because he can't really progress the arena. So at this point, he might as well just try and improve his dungeons across the board. Next one, we've got the Dragon Lair. Also stage 13, perfect, 2 minutes and 20 seconds. We've got the Sergeant for this one, and again, reusing our core champions. This is not too bad. And then let's look at the Fire Knight. We are at 11. Okay, not bad. So there's a gap from 10 to 11, probably because of the affinity. But again, here reusing our champions. Okay, so it's not rocket science in the beginning. The game does give you what you need to progress. I think that's the important point right here that we're trying to make with this free-to-play account, Farmables only, is the fact that you can somewhat reach decent stage, decent levels with only using those champions. Okay. Alright, now let's keep going. Let's look at the faction wars here real quick. 120 points. I mean, yeah, why not? If you can do a little bit extra in here, that's some few extra free resources, which is really important early on when you're starting out, right? With the missions, of course, but also with the challenges, you always want to try and progress that as much as possible. And like, he's finished all the champions, right? This is good. He's doing pretty good with the artifacts. Look at this. Right? Like, I mean, at this point, he only needs to farm regeneration and reach 50,000 HP with one champion. It's going to come with the gear, but still, the fact that he's able to complete all these challenges with literally only farmables is pretty interesting. What about dungeons? Part 5 of 5 already and almost completely done as well. He only needs to do stage 13s of each of these. So we're probably going to make a separate video, in fact, I think, to cover specifically each dungeons once he's able to fully complete this. Okay, so I think we're going to skip up. Magic is going to be a little bit of a problem. Spirit, if you don't have the heal reduction, you can do it, I believe, with like the set, right? There's a set that does it, but the Fire Knight is also going to be somewhat of a problem. But the rest, I mean, he was able to do it. It's really impressive. Okay, Arena, obviously stuck, right? So until they fix this, I think he's doing it a good job of like sort of letting that go for a while. Okay, there's no point in trying to, I guess, try and doing it because it's kind of broken. I think we all know it's kind of broken, and they said they would address it, so I wouldn't worry too much. Let's look at the tavern. He does have a couple of brews saved up, which is good. No chickens, that's all right. But look at this, right? Look at all these books for an account that is entirely free to play. So when he does get his next epic or one of the good epics, he's going to be able to max them out, if not perhaps the High Cocoon, right? Then what about if he makes it to Sile of the Drakes? He's going to probably have enough books to max out his Sile of the Drakes or eventually his Arbiter, okay? So I think that's the goal here, is to hang on to these resources and only really use them if he has to. But because of duplicates and maxing out champions with these duplicates, he doesn't really need to use these for the time being. And then for potions, he has a couple saved up as well. So again, doing really good. I don't think he would be able to complete any of the fusions, right? At this point, it's probably going to be a little bit too hard. But maybe at some point, he can manage to be really lucky and get all the rares he needs to do at least the rosin fusion. That would be really good as well, and then hopefully he has enough books to max out that champion. So again, here not really pushing for any of these, and there's not really any rares in here that are super game changers, except perhaps for this guy, the Fleshmonger and Anointed in the beginning. So that's maybe where he got his Anointed from. So again, these little champions, they do make a difference. So you want to pay attention to that if you're going like this whole free-to-play approach. So anyways, guys, that's going to be it, I think, right? Just a quick update on his account right now, see where he's at. And like I said, I think we can make separate videos for his dungeon runs, maybe his clan boss run, to see how it all works and what he's done to improve on that. Okay, so guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you later.